I promised you that we'd be keeping you updated on the two secrecy stories that we've been following on the other side. First, there was the secret member of an Australian parliament who spied on our country for a foreign government. No names, no info, just that lovely fact from ASIO Chief Mike Burgess a few weeks ago. Since then, the pollies have all been protecting each other, one would think, and just letting it slide. Well, we're not. We still don't know who this traitor was. Albo needs to stop pretending this will all just fade away. He needs to name the accused. They need to be formally charged and tried and convicted and sent to jail for a very, very long time if they're found guilty. The second thing that you're not allowed to know about, according to the tyranny of Australia's elite political and judicial class, is that story from Melbourne about the alleged hate crime. A magistrate put an extraordinarily tight suppression order saying that we couldn't report on it. Well, we've got some good news on that front, thanks to a campaign to have the suppression order lifted that was spearheaded by Rebel News Australia and its chief reporter Avi Yemeni, and only then supported by the mainstream media. We can tell you some details about the case now, but only some, it seems. The case surrounds an alleged kidnapping incident in which a 31-year-old man was taken from his car by a woman and another man and assaulted, allegedly because he worked for a Jewish boss. He isn't Jewish, he's a Muslim. He's alleging they attacked him because his boss was Jewish, because he worked for a Jewish boss in a Jewish-owned company. He says the attackers stole his iPhone and forced him to hand over the passcode by breaking one of his fingers with a hammer. Melbourne's Herald Sun newspaper reports it's alleged that the young Muslim man was told by the attackers that he had lost his faith and that the victim was so scared that the attackers would use the information on his phone against his boss that he called his boss from hospital and told him to lock all the IT in the business down. What makes this case extra troubling is that the alleged attackers are apparently quite high profile. The Herald Sun newspaper says the attack was allegedly carried out by, quote, a prominent female human rights advocate and a man who is a serial anti-Israel activist. Rebel News reports their names. The Herald Sun reports that it is still prevented from naming the accused due to that extraordinary suppression order from the magistrate. But it has detailed more of the alleged crime in its reporting. Now, our lawyers are telling us that we need to be safe and do as the Herald Sun is doing, so we won't be naming them either. But the newspaper does say that the attackers, a man and a woman, dragged the man out of his car in the northwest Melbourne suburb of St Albans at 9:30 p.m. and forced him into another vehicle where he was assaulted with a hammer. He was later found dumped in Braybrook with hand and facial injuries. The police in Victoria have categorically denied that this is a hate crime, saying that is not part of the case. Okay, well, time will tell. The accused will appear in court on May 31. So here's the thing. Violence or verbal attacks or intimidation and threats based on religious background or political beliefs have no place in this country, our country, Australia. Immigrants of the past 20 years or so do not have unique issues that immigrants of the previous 200 years didn't. But our ancestors didn't bring their problems with them. That's part of what it means to be Australian. And it's part of the deal of being allowed to become a permanent resident or citizen of this country. You can bring your culture with you, but you leave any troubles back home. If you want to keep playing out the wars that were the reason you left your homeland, then go home to do that. You don't bring that here. Otherwise, sorry, it's jail if you do something wrong or deportation for you. Aussies are getting sick and tired of this garbage, and we're losing patience with the left and their 50 years of diversity is always good nonsense. Diversity can be very good if it's diversity of peace, diversity of constructive ideas, innovation, growth, technology, and friendship. It can be very bad if it's diversity of cultures that don't share our core values, and it is not racist or wrong or unjust or unfair to say that, or for any country to demand a certain degree of assimilation and integration from its immigrants. The vast majority of immigrants to Australia do assimilate and integrate. The left would have us believe that the only racial hate crimes in Australia are from brain-dead neo-Nazi racist types against immigrants. But as ASIO chief Mike Burgess has said, that is not the big threat right now. Burgess said it is Sunni Islamic violent extremism that poses the, quote, greatest religiously motivated threat in Australia, unquote. In other words, it's ethnic tensions from other lands being brought into our country that poses the greatest race hate crime risks and terror risks to Australia. So again, you're welcome to immigrate to our country legally. We were built on immigration to a large extent, not fully, but to a large extent. But the deal is that there must be a sincere attempt to assimilate and integrate to some extent. And you've got to leave those homeland troubles back in your homeland. We like peace and non-violence and the rule of law here. Thanks. There'll probably be some left-wing nutjob's head exploding out there somewhere. You're a neo-Nazi racist. Yeah, no, sorry, not buying that BS anymore, kiddies. It is not racist to protect the peaceful nature of your own country and expect immigrants to require some assimilation. So we're done with your nonsense. If you like that content and you want to watch more, join us at adh.tv for all of our great content. But also, if you watch here on YouTube, hit that subscribe button and that bell. Subscribe here if you like, or watch full episodes here. All of it helps us, and we will make sure that the awful conspiracy theory about YouTube and Google suppressing right-wing content is completely ended forever.